for joining us on our series of inspirational women interviews. Today I'm talking to Angela Murphy. Angela is the CEO of Tomorrow's Women Wirral, a charity that is uniquely run by women for women. Angela is a former employee of the probation service who, along with the chair of the organisation, Maureen Thompson, set up the charity, which was launched in 2011 by Baroness Corston. This year is their 10th anniversary. Angela lives and is committed to the Wirral and endeavours to allow those women who are often underrepresented to have their voices heard, be given opportunities, support and motivate them to make their lives better. So really can't think of a better candidate for an inspirational woman. So thank you very much, Angela.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I thought we'd kick off with you just telling us a little bit about your current role or situation.
Okay, well, as you've said, I'm CEO of Tomorrow's Women and currently dealing with the challenges that COVID has presented us with. So that's about keeping staff safe and responding to the needs of the women that we work with.
Fantastic, great. And tell us a bit about your background, how you got where you are and what's led you to this position. Okay.
Well, my background is that I've worked for the probation service for 36 and a half years.
Is that all?
That's all. That's all. And I left in August 2017. But during the last 6 years of that employment, I was seconded to set up and manage Tomorrow's Women. After the secondment ended, I decided I wanted to continue working at Tomorrow's Women as CEO, and was therefore paid as an employee from Tomorrow's Women. So that's how I got to where I am. Yeah. Fabulous. And I mean, there was a lot leading up to that, because I realised women, because they were a minority within the probation service, I knew that there needed to be a different way of working with women. And obviously Baroness Corston led the way with regard to that. So we followed the principles of the Corston report.
Fantastic. And so that actually sounds like a very challenging ask, to set up a whole new organisation. And the theme of this year's IWD is Choose to Challenge. So yeah. What challenges you and how do you deal with those challenges?
Oh, well, heading up a charity, that presents a lot of challenges on a daily basis. So, you know, that's outside of COVID, you know, that's just normal everyday life. You know, it's a challenge. But because of COVID, obviously we've been challenged differently, and we've had to change our working model in order to continue our work with women, and to ensure safety of our staff as well. So we've had to adapt our model so that we can still remain in contact and engage with the women. So we were doing more outreach work and more virtual work. And I suppose another big challenge for all charities at this time is the financial implications of COVID, because we get a lot of our funding streams through people coming into the centre and donations and going out giving talks, and all that stopped. So of course it's been emergency funding, which is great, but invariably that's little pots of money to get charities through. But our hard work will really start once all the, you know, the COVID restrictions are lifted. And then we've really got to get to grips then of long-term funding then. So yeah, a lot of challenges. And how do we deal with those challenges? Well, I suppose every day I take stock of what's going on. I remind myself of what I'm doing. I deal with challenges by setting expectations, I suppose, and making sure that everyone knows those expectations, certainly amongst the staff, including the women who come to the centre as well. But it's important that everyone adheres to those expectations. And I think that's the best way, you know, to sort of deal with challenges, is to face them.
Fantastic. Yes, definitely. I couldn't agree more. And do you think there are any particular lessons that you've learned as a result of COVID and lockdown?
Well, you know, this is a period in time that'll be talked about forever in history, and we're living in it. You know, we're part of history now, aren't we? So, and I'm proud to say that Tomorrow's Women has remained open throughout all of the lockdowns. So staff have been coming in every day, and that's to facilitate scheduled appointments, crisis visits. And I have to say our staff team have been amazing, truly amazing. They've come into work every day, and we're following all the guidelines strictly. But sadly, our work has continued to increase during this period. And the main reasons for that is based around COVID, poor mental health, increased domestic abuse, poverty and addiction. So, it's crucial that we're available to these women. We've had 570 new referrals just this year, just this COVID period. And that's taken our total membership of women to over 9,200. So we work with an awful lot of women, and COVID has affected them individually, all very uniquely. It's affected them. But, we've done, because of the adaptations we've made, the virtual engagement has worked really well, on a one-to-one. Because we're used to having a thriving centre of, I don't know, up to 140 women a day coming in. So it's been very, very different for our staff, but really hard for the women who were used to coming into the centre. So we had to do all things new. We had to buy new computers because we're not an outreach, and all our classes and everything were delivered in the centre. So we've done one-to-one work over telephones, and we've started doing Zoom courses, group Zoom courses. And the feedback that we're getting from the women is really, really positive, really positive. And I suppose in some ways we've been able to engage with women that we found it very difficult to engage with previously, So we've got to take those, no matter what, we've got to take those learnings forward with us and adapt into how we normally operate. Fantastic. And I think another thing, just very quickly, I think unity, cohesion has been fabulous. Community has really come together, showing such generosity and caring. And, during a period of time when there's been such sadness and loss, it just shows you how strong a community can be to get people through it.
Absolutely. That's a really, 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 really good point, Angela. And I'm sure that strong community is led by a very strong woman. And as I mentioned earlier, we do think you are inspirational, Angela. So we're really keen to understand, what are your top tips for work and life in general?
Well, I think life in general, I think something I follow is know thyself. The Socrates saying, it's so important to know your strengths and your weaknesses and to reflect on them, because otherwise you'll never change, you'll never progress. And I think in our line of work, we've got to remember everyone is capable of change, and everybody needs the opportunities and the support to be able to do that. And it's really important to seek inspiration wherever you can find it. And hopefully that's what people get through engagement with us. Another one that I often say is, and I say it to my children more often than not, you can have 10 years experience or 1 year's experience 10 times. Yeah. And so if you want to progress, you have to challenge yourself. Yeah. It's no good sitting in the same job for 10 years saying, I've got 10 years experience, if you've done the same thing every year. So you need to broaden your experiences. And I think probably one of the best tips is to be honest. Talk about and share your feelings. Feelings, worries and anxieties, they're never unique. Everybody has them, and what we tend to do is think, it's me. But I think that's something that I've learned. If you share and if you talk and if you're open, you know that there is support there to assist you to get through those times.
Fantastic. Thank you, Angela. Well, if I could share my feelings with you, I would say that I've really enjoyed chatting to you today and really appreciate your time. And I'm sure that lots of people will really enjoy hearing your opinions and what you have to say. So thanks again very much. Thanks for joining us, and all the very best to you. Thank you.
Thank you.